All right, so y'all check this out. We're fixing to go into the Jarrett Museum right here, and we're gonna get to look around. I've got Mr. Kenny here now. You're the man with the plan. This is Jay's dad right here, the original one that started
39 years ago.
39 years ago. What made you want to start fooling with the rifles and stuff?
Hunger.
Hunger. Got hungry.
Farmer.
Farmer. Got tough. In that time, that was when the bottom fell out of beans.
Hogs were 19 cents a pound.
Yeah. It got bad during that time period. A lot of farmers lost their farms. A lot of farmers had to get out at that time.
And I was working on guns as a hobby, but my great interest was always rifles, you know. And then when I was growing up, everybody had a shotgun around here, and nobody had a rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got infatuated with the thing. Then I read a whole bunch. I'm a Civil War buff, and I read a whole bunch about these guys with these Whitworth rifles, the sharpshooters in the Civil War. They were killing people 900, 1,200 yards with these things.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, when the rifles did come out, I would see guys that wouldn't shoot at a deer over 150 yards, and I said, "Whoa, we missed something somewhere.
We can do better.
We can do better than that."
Yes.
And that's what I've been working on.
So ever since that time.
Yeah.
Ever since that time. So this is the museum right here that we're in. I like the American flag. It's the first thing I see right there.
That's the last 48-star flag that flew over the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Wow. And you got it in here.
Got it from Mr. Strom Thurmond.
Mr. Strom Thurmond. So we're just going to kind of take us around and point out just a few key things, if you would. And,
okay.
And this is pretty neat. John told me about it, but I wasn't quite expecting it.
This is a pistol made by the same guy, the same year, and the same man. It's the same caliber, the same size as the one that killed Abraham Lincoln.
Hmm.
And this is a 1858 original photograph of John Wilkes Booth.
So that little bitty pistol right there.
Yeah, but he had it right there. Yeah.
Oh, he shot him right behind the ear right there.
Right there, and it lodged right above his left eye.
Hmm.
The artist here is, his name is John Paul Strain. He's from Fort Worth, Texas, and he is by far the best artist I've ever seen. A lot of people think this is a photograph, you know.
I would have thought that too. But when you started talking about that, I can see the texture in the canvas up there. If you look up at the top where that is.
He told me he spent 11 days on that tree.
11 days.
Got a whole. These all Civil War era pistols.
How did you come up with a lot of this stuff in here?
I've just been collecting all my life.
It's things that you've collected, or people bring stuff to you?
To get money for something, or they. I go to Civil War shows. Occasionally, I'll pick up something there. Then I metal detect too.
Oh yeah. Y'all had a lot of Civil War activity here in and around Augusta.
And the coast too.
A lot went on. Yeah, down towards Savannah, down that way. A lot of.
Yeah. This drum right here was made in 1822, and the reason we know that all these big drums had a sight glass through here, and on the opposite side of the drum it had a label when and where it was made.
Yes, sir.
So this one being made when it was, more than likely it was used in the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848. The great part of this is stuff I metal detected. All this stuff right here came from Gettysburg. And a friend gave that to me, the little fella there. He passed away last year. He was 88 years old.
That's pretty neat.
The guy on the left was his great uncle, and he was a sniper in the war and had a Whitworth rifle. Fully equipped with everything that a regular cavalry Confederate soldier would have had on his horse. Bags, and they were used by people in the wintertime if they had a black person that worked for them and he was good. They would carry him into Charleston and kind of rent him out for the winter months while there was no farming going on. But while he was in town, he had to wear one of these badges at all times.
And that identified him.
That identified him, yeah. That it made like the two CS Richmond rifles.
Those things are probably very heavy too, aren't they?
Yes,
They got steel in them. You had to be tough to tote them things all day.
Let you handle one that's,
He's gonna get one out of the case for me to hold.
Palmetto Armory rifle that was made in Columbia, South Carolina.
Well, thing's got a long barrel on it.
By W.R. Glaze, yeah. You imagine toting that thing sometimes 30 miles a day.
Yeah, and it's not even loaded. You put the ball in there.
Yeah, that one was 69 caliber too.
69 caliber.
Mm-hmm.
That thing will leave a mark right there when it went through.
Blister. An old cedar canteen that was used during the war still has the original linen strap on it.
Wow.
It was shortened up, which means it was probably on a cavalry horse. Got the guy's initials on it. The little bag on the left is a haversack, a possible bag to call it, and that one's unusual because it's made out of mule hide.
Got tons and tons and tons of stuff in here, memorabilia.
Mm-hmm. Of course, it'd take me all day to explain all that to you, but these are all war-used swords. The name of the movie was Conspiracy, and it was about the shooting and the dying of Abraham Lincoln. And this bedspread was actually on that bed in that movie.
So it was used in a movie then, that bedspread was.
Yep, sure was. Of course, these are lice combs. You notice I find the teeth.
I see that.
They fought body lice, all of them just suffered terribly with them. They call them graybacks. And this is binoculars and medical related. This is all medical instruments from the Civil War.
I would have hated to have been worked on with any of that stuff in there back in the day.
Look how little those guys were.
They're very small. I mean, very small.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Brown's raid, he came into the Maryland side of Harper's Ferry, and he brought his Sharps rifles with him from Kansas, where he had killed a bunch of people. It was 22 of them. Only 2 boxes survived. The other one's in the Smithsonian. And the reason they did it was 2 colored women that had big wells in a big yard, and they camped there in those people's yard. And they asked for 2 of the boxes to put kindling wood on the porch, and that's how they survived. The rest of them were probably busted up for
kindling. I've been to Harper's Ferry up there, and all the way up on the top over the overlook where you can see back down over the roadway.
Yeah, boy, they fought like the devil there.
Yeah, a lot of Civil War activity there in that area. Lots and lots. Wow, this is cool.
This was what you call a mountain howitzer. It's the lightest weight piece of armament they had, and the cavalry liked them because it would disassemble and fit on 3 mules. The cannon would go on 2 mules, and then the ammo boxes would go on the 3rd one.
So it was very portable.
It was very portable.
Back for the day, it was
nothing but a giant shotgun.
Wow, I would hate to have to tote that thing around right there. That would be rough.
That tube's about all 2 men want.
Oh, I bet.
These are called Warlocks, and everywhere you see a red button is where a bullet was fired into it. This one was, I found this one down at Honey Hill. This one was found at Rocky Face in Dalton, Georgia. This was a pine. That was a box elder, and I bought this one, but I found that. Right here is the most unusual. It's a Lamat. They didn't make but 3,000 of those. A lot of the famous generals, especially cavalry guys, toted them. It would shoot 9 times out of the pistol barrel, and then you flip a little spur on the hammer, and it would shoot a 16 gauge shotgun and load a buckshot out the bottom.
Can you imagine having a fight with some of this stuff right here that those guys had to?
Well, that's old Colt Dragon right there that was used in the Mexican-American War, and it was the first official pistol of the Texas Rangers. That thing weighs nearly 5 pounds.
Good gracious. Tons of bullets in there. Wow. That's a big gator. Where'd you get that gator at?
It's on the farm here, but we got a big oxbow lake in the swamps called Bent Lake.
Did y'all hear that? He got that gator on the farm here. He grows big gators. I don't know that I would want to traipse around right here with gators like that right there. That's a big boy.
That is a
that's Antinium.
of the Battle of Antietam.
That was the biggest, that was the largest Civil War battle. What was it, like 20,000 soldiers died? 26,000. I have been there too at that place right there and rode all through it. Very cool.
More Americans was killed that day in the history of our country till this very day.
A lot of y'all probably, I have a lot of Civil War buffs that watch this, but I've never disclosed very much about the Civil War, about what I know about it. And a lot of people probably going to be very surprised that I know a lot of the Civil War history and stuff like that, and like learning about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the bloodiest day. That's it right there. Now, let's see. All right. So the Battle of Blakeney down there just outside of Mobile, Alabama. What's so neat was the Civil War was actually over. 1865, that's when it ended, 61 to 65, when it ended. But the people down there at Blakely, they didn't know it was over. They were still killing each other down there, and it was because they fought for a few more days before they knew. They didn't have email and internet and stuff like that, or cell phones back then. Got the word, did they?
No.
So where'd you get the elephant from? Did you kill it here on the plantation?
No, I killed him in the Kilwa region of Tanzania, Africa.
What'd you shoot that big joker with?
Real sunk place behind his eye there. It goes straight to the brain.
What size? What caliber gun did you?
450 Rigby that I made.
450 Rigby, big bullet. So that alligator right there weighed 734 pounds is what it weighed. How long did he end up being?
12 foot.
12 foot. Got his tag and his tail right there. That's a big lizard right there. So that's a Cape Buffalo. That's the bad boy. Here's another one though. Look at how big that one is. Look at the neck on that thing. Wow. That's a stud right there.
So maybe get them interested in history a little bit.
So Mr. Keeney, this is your museum, and you allow visitors to come here and tour this museum, right?
I'm usually open on Sunday afternoons.
Usually open on Sunday afternoons, so you know this is in Jackson, South Carolina, right here.
Yeah, it's $9 admission, and I do prefer for people to let me know. And,
Call in advance. Yeah. Call in advance.
And bring at least 4 to a dozen people.
Yeah, bring a group with you when you come. And so a family, if you're interested in this is kind of off the beaten path. Probably a lot of people don't know about this. You know. So what made you decide to build a museum here? Y'all look at that animal right there. It's very cool.
My uncle and my grandmother raised me.
Mm-hmm.
My uncle got pancreatic cancer and lived 90 days. And he told me one of the last things he wanted me to do was to build a church in remembrance of his mother and the same lady, my grandmother, that raised me. Well, I got to looking around, and there's a dozen churches in Jackson.
I think it's like 17 churches. It's a bunch of them in Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And so I had all this stuff, and I started adding to it, and I said, you know, this would be a meaningful memorial to my grandmother and my uncle if I did something like this. Mm-hmm. And I already had a bunch of it and nowhere to put it. So I started building on this thing. I cut all the lumber for it and myself. And
Yeah, I saw you had a sawmill down there, John. Took me down there the other night. Saw you had a little sawmill down there. You get all the wood off your place here, off of Cowden?
Nobody knows what it is, but I do. It was a Civil War era fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher.
Yeah, and they would put it down in a horse trough or whatever and pump it with a hose on it. It'd shoot water about 25 feet.
Okay. So just a hand pump?
Hand pump, yes.
All right, so I've got to know, what is this screw for right there? What is that?
That's the elevation screw off of what they call a sea cannon or a coastal cannon, big cannons. And this is what they raised it up and down with.
Okay, you get the right angle that they wanted on it before they fired it.
That's right.
Wow.
Cannon, I think it was on Fort Wagner or Morris Island, somewhere down there. And it shot 27 times and it blew up. And this is the only known one that came out of that gun fired and didn't go off and was recovered.
300 pounds.
Weighs 300 pounds.
Shell.
It was good for 10,000 feet, and it held
nearly 2 miles.
It had nearly 20 pounds of powder inside, and it was propelled, I think, with 26 or 28 pounds of powder to push it out.
Boy, when that thing hit something, it was gonna, it was going to leave a mark. Well, them are some big old shells. Very big. Wow.
It's an old Indian trade rifle made by Barnett in London. And I had that gun 10 years before I realized what it was.
So we're in the upstairs part now. And all this looks like all Indian artifact stuff up here, arrowheads. Just look at all the arrowheads.
And they came off the place. The only thing didn't come was there's 3 bigger bowls up here. They came down the river about 6 miles.
Wow.
It's a Clovis, and it's called, I think of it in a minute, not Ridgeway, it's, anyway, it's a very rare Clovis point. Very few of those have been found in South Carolina. This one right here. That's a really rare bird there. This came from a friend of mine in Utah that came here hunting with me and told me his granddad and him collected these where the Indians would run the buffalo off of a cliff and break their legs and their back and their neck. And they would let the boys stand there with the little bows and shoot them for practice on a live animal.
And there's the arrow right there. It's arrowhead stuck into that vertebrae right there. Ain't that something?
I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was a really cool deal with the Jarretts. That's the other part of the Jarrett Rifle video, was going through their museum. It's right there on site. If you want to check it out or go to it, you can just contact them. And like you said, he likes to take, groups through there and on Sunday afternoons. But I was amazed at how much stuff that he had in there, Mr. Kenny had in there all over, and how much he knew about everything that he had in there. It's kind of tough for me to film that because I was holding my Canon. I had my Canon, my 80D, which is a DSLR camera. It's just pretty heavy, and with a shotgun mic on top of it and all that. So I'm kind of hoping when I put this on the end of it that it will, when I do the image, when I stabilize it some, I'm hoping it'll kind of smooth it out when y'all get to see it. I hadn't done it yet because I hadn't put this part on the end of it there yet. But so like I said, hope you enjoyed that. Big thanks to them for allowing me to come out there and do all that filming with them. I've been meaning to get this video out, and just had so much other stuff going on with some of the other videos that I was putting out. It kind of kept getting this one pushed back a little bit, but nonetheless, it's coming out. So I hope y'all have a good week. Start off the week here with this video. you know it's bad when you got people who know you enough that contact you from time to time. I just got a contact come in from me and ask me had I taken my garbage down yet. Tonight is of course it's Sunday night and tomorrow's Monday. That's my garbage day. So that's bad when people keep up with you like that and know that. But don't forget about the meet and greet coming up right there in Jackson, South Carolina, where the museum is too. So if y'all are coming, you know, some of y'all are coming down and going to be staying or something like that, and you wanted to check out the museum on Sunday, go ahead and contact the Jarrett's there, Mr. Keeney there, and yeah, y'all get a group together and line up and go through it. It's worth you. I mean, it'd probably take you more than an hour, a couple hours to, if you walk through it. Well, it'd take probably 3 hours if you looked at every single thing in the tags he's got on all that stuff. Because I told him when we were walking in, I said let's try to do a quick run through of it right quick. But so that's right there. That meet and greet's coming up August the 4th, 2018, from 2 to 5 at the Jackson Community Center there in Jackson, South Carolina. The address and all that stuff's right down below. That a heck of a response. I think there's going to be quite a few people there. We'll see. This is going to be a test thing for me. If it works, I'll hit some other venues, do some other stuff. If it don't, we'll just see how it works. But I think that's kind of the best way for me to meet people and things like that. It's more of a safer environment for me to do it like that. Just because of the way things are evolving. I don't know if y'all follow How Farms Work, Ryan, on YouTube, but he actually had some vandalism during the farm day show that went on. It disappointed me a lot. Most people are great people, good people, but you can have those one or two who can really jack you up if you're not careful. So I think the way that I'm doing is kind of the safest way for me to handle it. So for now, I'm gonna let y'all go. If you like my stuff, please subscribe to me. I'd appreciate that. Thank all y'all for all the views. We'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.